Hello and welcome to today's vlog. I have just got back from London, as you would have seen. I went up there for a meeting and then just worked around it basically, and sort of got there, went to a Starbucks, worked there for an hour, then went to the meeting and then worked from the Science Museum cafe, which actually came up on like a forum of good co-working spaces, and it wasn't wrong. I very much enjoyed it, and I had a vegan sausage roll and it was actually banging. So all in all, check. It's now 4 o'clock, so after doing just the whole day and working there and getting the train, and I did the walk from, I was in like London Bridge area and I needed to get back to the station, so I did the walk across the river, which was really nice. Yeah, just a little day of it really. But I wanted to start the vlog because there's been a couple of things that have happened over the past couple of days that I wanted to talk about, and it's one of those things where if I don't talk about it now, I'll forget about that they've ever happened, and then it will be next week and then I won't have picked up the camera. So we're getting involved now. First thing being, I'm doing newsletters. I've got some people, I've spoken about this before, delegated it out, got some people to do my newsletters for me. So I've been looking at my contacts just to make sure that the mailing list is good and that I've got previous prospects on there, previous clients, current prospects, current clients, etc., and make sure that I'm segmenting them well enough so that the content that's reaching them is correct for them, so that I can limit unsubscribes. Anyway, so I was having a little look through, and two in particular, one that was a client of ours and one that was a prospect. And I read through our emails, and this would have been 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, and they were both London based. The client is huge now. Like, I can't name them because at the time we had to sign an NDA, and I remember being like, what are you doing? Like, why do we need to sign an NDA? That's mad. Like, they were in London, they had a presence in London, but it wasn't like working with someone extremely huge. But now they are massive. They've got multiple locations around London, and they're just absolutely smashing it. So that's completely fair enough. However, at the time, they were early stages, but they were still doing well. I think they had a couple of locations by then, but we were talking directly with the owners, and once again, the owners now are like massive. I was on their Instagram and there was a reel with one of the owners, and they were announcing a partnership with another massive company, and I was like, oh my god. But anyway, I was sort of looking through that, and then it was like flooding back with memories. And then the other company that never actually became a client was another big it was a big restaurant in London. I'm not going to say who, just in case. And I went and had a meeting with the owner in one of their locations, and I remember I was shitting it, but I went in so prepared, to the point where I wasn't nervous when I was there, because I was like, well, you've prepared yourself so well that anything that they come back with you on, you know what to say. You're selling something that you're really confident in, etc. And the comms were really good. All of the emails going back and forth, they were really good. The only thing is when someone gets too busy and then it sort of drops off the face of the earth. And I'm the type of person, I'm not a very good salesperson, hardcore salesperson anyway. I'm not going to hammer home. I'll ask a few times, but if you don't get back to it, I'm just going to take that as a bit of a hint, which I shouldn't do, because at the time they were like, we're opening they were opening another restaurant at the time, another site, and they were like, we need to focus on this, but like afterwards I want to chat, me, you and the co-owner, sit down. So I'm like, why did I just fumble this so bad? But regardless, it made me realize that doing this sort of shit over and over again over the past 10 plus years, whether it's been through agencies that I've worked for, through my own stuff, the fact of talking to people and doing the do every single day means that you're sort of slowly building this confidence. And like right now, I can walk into a room and I can have a conversation with bigwigs and CEOs and MDs and owners, etc., and feel really confident. But that's because I've been doing it for a long time. And it's about the building again, rather than just getting there, because I don't think you just get there. So anyway, that's kind of what I've been thinking. I've referenced it before, but from a different point, and I think you just realise more with doing this YouTube stuff. I sort of think a little bit deeper into like every sort of nuance of like the way that I am in business, the way that I am with people, the way that I run things, like what I'm good at, what I'm bad at, and then to actually voice it means that I can sort of comprehend it better. So even though I've made this point before, it's now evolved into a different point, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does, fingers crossed. Anyway, I'm going to cut this talking segment because once again I've been chatting for a long time, so we're going to flash forward to tomorrow now, because I got a phone call yesterday from an old client of mine, but I'm not going to tell you the context of that because I'll just chat some more. I'm going to tell you that tomorrow, so I will see you tomorrow. Hello, so it's now the next day, even though I'm in the same position as I was yesterday, and I've just finished a meeting with a potential prospect, the old client that I was talking about before, and I've forgotten what I said, but basically I had a random phone call and I saw his name flash up and I was like, what does he want? And he was like, I've got a crazy idea and I want someone to work on it who is basically just as crazy as me. And I was like, well, you got the right person. So it's not, to be fair, in my opinion, it's not that much of a crazy idea. He just wants to launch a podcast. It's within the lighting industry, so like external lighting, big lighting projects, a very, very boring industry, and he is sort of pioneering, and he has been for a long time, of making it not as boring for an industry to be a part of, because there's a lot of skill shortages and gaps in employment within the industry because people aren't necessarily wanting to get into it, but also it's getting the name out in terms of like to potential clients and future prospects and stuff like that. So he wants to launch a podcast, but it's a proper like, let's get this like studio, let's get a bunch of episodes filmed, advert for it, launch it, want to do it over the next few months type thing. So it's basically a lot of work to get done, but it will be a really positive thing, because I do a podcast at the moment for another client of ours, which I've spoken to you about, but there's certain nuances in terms of me sort of shouting about it. I can say, oh, I've shot a podcast for X client, but I can't showcase the podcast as much as I'd like to just because of sensitivities, and that's completely fine. Whereas this one, he's big on collaboration and shouting out about each other, and if this goes well and other people ask, then it's kind of like a 100% you'll be on board. And yeah, just spoke about it and it was really nice. It's really nice when you don't have a office, and I know this sounds a bit silly, but when I used to work for someone and we used to have an office, it was a case of they would come into the office or you would go into theirs for meetings, and it's always just very stuffy. I find if you put me in a meeting room and I'm just like, it's just a bit stuffy and a bit horrible and a bit corporate, whereas going for a coffee, also actually having a nice cup of coffee, because I'm not a coffee snob, but I'm actually quite a child when it comes to my coffee order because I love anything sweet. So like when I go to a coffee shop and I can get a skinny caramel latte, as opposed to going to an office and having a instant crappy coffee, I'm always going to choose the first option. So it's nice to be able to do that, be in a relaxed environment, chat business and get some shit done in, like I say, just while you're feeling a bit more comfortable. So that was a really positive start to my morning. I'm very, very happy. And I've messaged another client because I need to get them on the phone. It's really annoying, and I'm going to talk about, I wasn't going to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it because I said that I would talk about the highs and the lows. We won a client a long time ago, and it's kind of like, on paper, it's what you would see as like a dream client, because it's fun and interesting. And it's just been a bit of a shit show, to be honest with you, and I've got to lay down the law a little bit, and I don't like doing that. I'm not a person that is good at laying down the law, so I need to try and get them on the phone so that I can lay down the law. And so I've just messaged to say I'm around when they are, so give me a shout. So I'm yet to hear from them, but when they do, I'll let you know the result of that. Hopefully I don't just roll over and accept it. I need to be a little bit more hardcore. And then at lunchtime, I'm going to head to the gym today. I might take you along to the gym because the gym is a big part of my life, always has been. I used to be a personal trainer. I still go to the gym 2 to 3 times a week alongside running and walking and other stuff that I do. It's important. So within the day, I will always have either minimum of an hour of either running, walking or going to the gym, just to make sure that my head stays on right and that I keep the focus. So that is the game plan. Hello guys, it's now the next day again. So this week has just flown by, and looking back, I was editing the rest of the footage earlier on, and looking back, it really has flown by because this week just feels like a little bit of a blur. But we did have the call with the client that I mentioned. Once again, I won't mention them by name because I think that we're going to be able to continue the relationship, continue the partnership. But I will update you on that one next week because the answer to that will be clearer next week, basically. So I won't say too much on that now. And then earlier on today, I did half of a half marathon. So I jumped on the treadmill for a while, put on a few YouTube videos and just ran away, and it actually felt really good, and I'm really happy that I did it because it's been a little while since I've done a long run. So just knowing that the stamina was there. After the leg session that I did yesterday, obviously you saw a few snippets of that, not the whole thing, but my DOMs this morning were quite violently bad, so it was a little bit of a struggle and they feel really tight, and I did do some stretching afterwards, but I'm definitely going to have to get the massage gun, I think, on them later on this evening. So that's the game plan. But it was just nice to feel confident, and it's kind of like what I was saying the other day about sort of growing that confidence in rooms and growing it slowly. It's nice to, in my brain, I've constantly got this thing, I can't explain it. Ever since I've done the marathon, my mindset has shifted. I feel like not anything is possible, but I know that I can run 26.2 miles, I think it is, 42k, something like that. I know that I can run it because I've done it before. So the half marathon, yes, it's going to be difficult. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, and I am definitely training for it and stuff like that. But I'm jumping on the treadmill and thinking, okay, I'm going to do 10k, and I'm not panicking. Whereas I remember before the marathon, if I was doing 10k, I would start to panic. So just building that confidence, and that will continue to build. This is the most consistent over a long period of time, I think, that I've been with running. I've sort of been on and off ever since COVID, but this has been the most consistent and the longest distances as well, which has been really good because I'm just testing myself, growing up my stamina. And I don't know whether you remember as well, but a few vlogs ago, maybe it was last vlog, I can't remember, I'd mentioned that I was feeling incredibly irritable because I'd quit vaping, and it's now however many weeks later and I'm still not vaping. So my heart rate has gone down when I'm training. I can stay in those lower levels now. I'm finding it just a little bit easier, and I found this last time because I quit before the marathon as well, but I'm not going to pick it back up this time because that was a big mistake. But it's just feeling a lot better and a lot healthier, and it's starting to get lighter. It's still very rainy in the UK. I think we've had kind of a record rainfall over consistency of days. But all in all, things are getting brighter. We are approaching spring, so I'm feeling positive, ready to go. It's been a good week so far. I've still got tomorrow, which is just going to be a block of a work day and gym, and then a busy weekend with a lot of social plans. So I'm going to call it here for the vlog, and I will catch up with you next week.